Hey everybody, it's Larry Steinhouse, and I'm here inside the Investor Schooling Workshop classroom. And every week we talk about stock options and real estate, but one thing I want to talk about today is I want to talk about how to pick your in and out prices of certain stocks that we equate with stock options. So first of all, if you're a student, you already know that we only play 6 stocks. So I'm going to tell you what my 6 stocks are right now. They're Rivian, CCL, AAL, Disney, Intel, and of course, BA. So these are the stocks I've been playing for a while, right? These are the stocks, these are symbols. And what we want to do is we want to figure out when we're going to buy a stock option and when we're going to sell that stock option. So if you remember, or if you're a student, if you're not a student, you don't remember, but if you're not a student, you get a bonus. But if you're a student, you remember that we need to write down when we're going to buy it and when we're going to sell it before we buy it. You don't buy it now and go, oh yeah, I wrote down today because I bought it today. That's wrong. That's not at all how you do it. So let's do one at a time. I'm going to pick my numbers right now. I'm going to go to the board, and everybody know, very simple, we use CNBC. It's very simple. So we go to CNBC, we put in the stock ticker, which the first one is Rivian, so RIVN is the first one. And we're going to take a look at Rivian, and when we take a look at Rivian, we're going to see, what are we going to see? We're going to see a chart, right? And over here is a chart. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this chart. We're going to take a look first at the 3-month chart. And sometimes we don't find all the information we need, so we'll look at the 6-month chart, but I like this 3-month chart. This 3-month chart is telling me a lot, right? What do I got? I got a bump, I got a fall, I got a bump, I got a fall, I got a bump. What do you think's coming next? The fall, right? Most likely, anyway. So now I want to just take a look at this. I want to take an average with my eyes. I just want to take an average with my eyes, right? So when I take a look at the average of my eyes, it looks like the down port is right around here. So it's right around 11.5. That's it. That's my buy price, 11.5, right? So when the stock hits 11.5, I'm going to buy a stock option on that stock. I'm going to buy a call option, right? Now look at this. I'm going to take a look at the highs, right? So same thing. We got about 13 is about the average of the high. So there you go, 13. I'm done. Now a lot of people say to me, well, Larry, what happens if it never hits 11.5? Well, then I never buy the stock option, and how much money do I lose? Nothing. Remember, the rules are written for one reason, to avoid losing money, or at least to mitigate the risk, to keep it from losing money. So let's look at the next one. The next one I got is CCL. Let's take a look at that. And the CCL is going to be a little confusing, because in here we have the crazy Trump tariff situation, which made the stock market go crazy. But that's a good thing, because I'm going to show you how you ignore that. So we take a look at the 3-month chart. We can see, look, right? We're up here. We're at about 25 up here, right? And you can see down here, we hit 16 or something, but I want to ignore this. So I literally just take it out of the chart. Now what do I have? I have right now, I have probably a line here about 18-ish, right? So I'm going to say that 18 is my buy price. And I'm going to say that right around here, right around where we are right now, 22.5 would probably be my out price. All right, now we got AAL. Let's do AAL and see what happens with that. And if I look at American Airlines, you're going to see that American Airlines also had a major fall during the Trump information, but let's take a look at the 3 months and see what we got. So now I want to show you how this one doesn't give me enough information, right? Because I got a big high over here, which is about 15, 16, right? And then we dropped down here, we dropped in the Trump mess, the Trump tariff mess, and it hasn't quite come back yet. So will it come back? I don't know. So I'm going to look and see if I get any information from the 6-month. I got no information from the 6-month because it's still higher than where it is now. So let's take a look at the 1 year. Now I have information, right? I see over here, right? We have the same thing that happened over here. So this tells me that 10.5, 11 is probably a good time to buy. So anytime this stock is below 11, it's probably a good time to buy. and anytime it's below 10, it's a great time to buy. So I might even want to say 10.5. So 10.5, and let's get out, right? Let's get out right around, oh, I'm even gonna be conservative and say right around 13. Let's do Disney and see what that is. That's another one that got hit pretty badly with the Trump tariff mess. So again, we're gonna have to play with it and see what we come up with. So Disney, we take a look at this, we take a look at the 3-month chart, and what do we see? We actually see information. We see good information. We see over here, we were at 110, right? The Trump mess we ignore, right around here. So we see it came down to right around here, 90. So I'm actually gonna be conservative and say 95 to 105. All right, let's do Intel. Okay, we take a look at the 3-month chart again. Oh, we see something here. This is interesting, right? We see highs around here about 25, was a max, all right? And then we see drop down here about 20, right? And then we take this out, just this, we see the drop is at 20. So I would take this to 20 to 24, but I just want to confirm that by looking at the 6-month chart. And no, so we got about the same thing. So right around here, we got 20. So anytime it falls below 20, it's a good time to buy. And I would get out right around 20, 23. So let's go 20 or below 20, right? Anytime it's below 20. And then I get out about 23. And finally, we got BA. BA is on a roll, so it's a little bit tougher. And it's got an interesting bump from or interesting problem that happened during the Trump tariff mess. And we'll get to see what happens here. By the way, okay, I'm glad this came up. See, that says 52-week high? When it says 52-week high, the stock is now unpredictable. It's most likely gonna go higher for the next couple of sessions. But that, to me, makes the stock unpredictable. So now I can't actually tell what's gonna happen. So clearly, I'm gonna take BA off my radar for a little while until I get another 3-month chart. But let's just take a look at it anyway, because I want you to see what I'm seeing. So if we take a look at a 3-month chart, first of all, it's ridiculous because, you know, we have this thing right here, which we need to take out. So once we take that out, it makes a little more sense. We probably have a 165 to about 180. These are probably the numbers, right? 165 around here and 180 around here, which are beautiful numbers if it happens again. Okay, but because we hit the 52-week high, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'll tell you what, I'm still gonna put those numbers down because they're good numbers. I mean, if it does happen, it's great, but it's probably not gonna happen. What's probably gonna happen is we're not gonna be in BA for a little while. We'll probably have to wait for about maybe 45 days to 2 months before we're gonna be in BA. So that's how I pick it, it's that simple. Make sure you pick your stocks, make sure you pick your 6, make sure you chart your buy-sell prices now before you buy them, and don't deviate from your 6. Follow the rules of the Crazy Options Trader.